This is wrestling's greatest moments.
Hey now, wrestling fans! Today, Wrestling's Greatest Moments looks at the classic angle when Jake the Snake Roberts attacked Randy Savage with a King Cobra. Before we get started though, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. 1991 was a year of tremendous ups and downs for Randy Macho Man Savage. Savage had been working as the heel Macho King character alongside his manager Queen Sherry Martel ever since the Mega Powers exploded at WrestleMania 5. With his heel turn came a storyline split from his former manager Miss Elizabeth, but this didn't slow Macho down as he became one of the WWF's top heels, if not its top heel. However, Savage's inexhaustible hubris led to a career-ending mistake when he took out WWF champion The Ultimate Warrior at 1991's Royal Rumble after the champion turned down Queen Sherry's plea for the Warrior to grant Savage a title match. This led to the Macho King attacking The Ultimate Warrior during his title defense against Sergeant Slaughter, who was working his controversial heel gimmick as an Iraqi sympathizer during the ongoing Persian Gulf crisis. Despite Savage's help, it looked like the Warrior would prevail. However, Savage's persistence turned the tide when he saw an opportunity and smashed his ruby scepter over the Warrior's head, while the WWF champion's head was draped on a rope. Unfortunately, Savage struck the Ultimate Warrior a bit too hard, according to Sergeant Slaughter. When it happened in the match, I heard this ungodly sound of glass shattering. Randy had hit the Warrior right between the eyes with that scepter. It was obliterated. It didn't go in the ring, but it was all over the floor. After that, Warrior was supposed to be lying in the ring, but when I went over, he was still sprawled over the second rope. Slaughter claims the Warrior was knocked out cold, forcing him to end the match prematurely. Regardless, the angle had been finished, and Slaughter was now WWF champion while the Ultimate Warrior set his sights on Savage. This led to their epic match at WrestleMania 7, where both men put their careers on the line. The WWF kept its fans on the edge of their seats as Savage and the Warrior appeared to be on their way out of professional wrestling. Ultimately, pun intended, the Warrior prevailed, and Savage counted the lights. Things only got worse as an irate Sherry Martel attacked Macho Man after the match. Savage was defenseless after his match against Warrior, and only the intervention of Miss Elizabeth saved Savage. What could have been the worst night of Savage's WWF career ended on a high note, as Savage and Elizabeth reunited. For more about the Savage vs. Warrior match, check out our video, 40 Years of WrestleMania, Career vs. Career Match, Savage vs. Warrior. Just weeks later, Savage proposed to Miss Elizabeth and she accepted, naturally with an "oh yeah," leading to SummerSlam's Match Made in Heaven. The touching ceremony was a perfect wrap-up to the couple's reunion. That's why we can't have anything nice here. However, this being professional wrestling, no ceremony is complete without someone ruining things, and sure enough, Liz and Randy's wedding reception was spoiled when The Undertaker, manager Paul Bearer, and Jake the Snake Roberts crashed the party. Things got started when Elizabeth opened a gift box, revealing a King Cobra inside. Liz screamed, but the nightmare was only beginning, as The Undertaker KO'd Savage with his urn. Only the timely arrival of WWF superstar Sid Justice, aka Sid Vicious, stopped the heels from who knows what. And that was the beauty of the angle. The WWF left it to the fans' imagination what Undertaker, Paul Bearer, and Jake Roberts would have done. The Undertaker was still all in on his heel gimmick, and it seemed like he was capable of anything, as seen when he locked the Ultimate Warrior in a coffin. As for Roberts, he turned heel after luring the Ultimate Warrior into a room full of venomous snakes, and what he told the Warrior was his way to help the Warrior confront the Undertaker's darkness. The WWF presented these two wrestlers as the company's most dangerous duo. Randy Savage would have his hands full trying to get payback on either superstar, let alone two. A roadblock to revenge. However, there was one person Savage hadn't counted on getting in his way while he sought revenge. WWF President Jack Tunney, the WWF storyline authority figure, made it clear that per WrestleMania 7's retirement stipulation, Savage could no longer compete, regardless of the circumstances. As you might expect, the Macho Man was furious, as were WWF fans who felt it unfair that Savage couldn't revenge himself on Roberts and The Undertaker, although the storyline quickly shifted to a focus on Savage wanting Roberts. Meanwhile, Roberts enjoyed Savage's futile efforts to get him into a ring, taunting Savage at every opportunity. WWF fans rallied to Randy Savage's side, launching a letter-writing campaign to persuade President Tunney to do the right thing and reinstate the Macho Man. The letters reportedly kept flooding in, but Tunney wasn't changing his mind. Savage had to honor the contract he signed when he fought the Ultimate Warrior, regardless of the consequences. This was painful for Savage and his fans. Just to add to the tension, Savage provided color commentary alongside Vince McMahon on WWF Superstars of Wrestling, which meant fans could hear the anguish and frustration in his voice as he wondered how he could step back into the ring. As fans knew, the only way for a babyface to get justice in professional wrestling was to get his opponent into the squared circle. Courts or a parking lot wouldn't do, thus Savage appeared helpless. Naturally, the WWF wasn't going to deny Savage his quest for payback, or its own quest for a massive payday from booking Savage vs. Roberts matches across the country. The WWF concocted an angle that would force Jack Tunney to reinstate the Macho Man and give Savage another reason to want to take out Roberts. Savage is snake bitten. The WWF crafted a chilling angle that played out on the November 23, 1991 episode of Superstars of Wrestling. There, Jake Roberts got on the microphone and taunted Savage, inviting him into the ring. Despite protests from Randy's fellow announcers Vince McMahon and Roddy Piper, there was no stopping him. Unfortunately, Roberts got the drop on the Macho Man and quickly trapped him in the ring ropes. What happened next was unlike anything that WWF's fans had ever seen. Roberts produced a King Cobra. Roberts' longtime pet snake Damien had been kayfabe crushed by Earthquake during Roberts' previous babyface run. Vince McMahon lost his mind, repeatedly shouting, "That snake better be devenomized." Turns out Vince McMahon wasn't the only person concerned about the Cobra. Lenny Poffo was traveling with Savage and Elizabeth in a car when he heard the couple arguing about the proposed storyline. While the WWF would make sure the snake was devenomized, Elizabeth was against the idea. The Macho Man won out, but even he began to grow concerned. During an appearance on the Vlad TV podcast, Jake Roberts explained Savage's concerns about the snake. "King Cobra? Yeah, I hooked him up. Well, the first thing that happened was Savage came to me and said, 'Hey, we're doing this thing tonight.' He says, 'Are you sure that snake's good?' I'm like, 'What do you mean?' He's like, 'Is the poison? Did you have the poison taken out?' And I'm like, 'Yeah, man, he's straight.'" Roberts would recount how Savage was skeptical, with the Macho Man telling him, "Your Cobra's gonna bite me. Okay, you got that. But here's the problem. Yeah, there's a lot of people around here that'd like to take the Macho Man out. You know what I'm saying? And you might be one of them." Apparently nothing Roberts said would appease Savage's concerns that the snake was still venomous. Finally, Savage demanded that Roberts allow himself to be bitten by the snake. Roberts took one for the team and let the snake bite him in the leg. Savage watched Roberts to see if indeed the snake's poison had been taken out. Even after Roberts showed no ill effects, Macho Man wanted to make sure the snake wasn't replaced with a venomous one. Eventually satisfied, the angle played out, with Roberts taking the Cobra and getting it to bite Savage's arm by repeatedly slapping it. The snake latched onto Savage, but wouldn't let go. Roberts shared how, then that snake wouldn't let go. It went on forever. Elizabeth came running down to tell me to get the snake off of him. At first I couldn't get it off. It shocked people. Thankfully, Roberts got the snake off the Macho Man. The segment made for powerful television, and the WWF left much to the imagination by censoring things with its classic Big Red X. While the snake was devenomized, the Macho Man suffered the consequences of the bite. During an episode of the show WWE Rivals, Hulk Hogan recalled, "Randy was very sick afterward. Fever, chills, just really sick." According to the Macho Man, "My arm blew up like a balloon for days. About 5 days later, they had to rush me to the hospital with a 104-degree fever. It's unbelievable to walk into the hospital and tell the doctor I had a snake bite. Finally, the fever went down. They gave me antibiotics, and luckily the snake was devenomized. But 12 days later, the snake died. He was devenomized, but maybe I wasn't." The angle launched the series between Savage and Roberts that began at the WWF's pay-per-view experiment this Tuesday in Texas, continued at the 1992 Royal Rumble, and finished during the February 8th, 1992 episode of Saturday Night's Main Event. Jake Roberts believes the feud was ended far too soon. The WWE rushed the whole thing because it was just too powerful. It didn't fit their timeline, and that was stunning because we could have wrestled each other for years. It was supposed to lead into WrestleMania, but it didn't. Whether or not the WWF rushed the finish, the angle where Jake Roberts' King Cobra bit Randy Savage still sends chills up some fans' spines. What do you think of the angle? Share your thoughts in the comment section and let us know if there's any videos you'd like to see. In the meantime, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, follow us on X and Instagram, and spread the good news about wrestling's greatest moments, the channel that celebrates the squared circle.